Good, happy Wednesday morning. It is Wednesday, August 10, 2022. I'm Riley King, and welcome to this Wednesday morning edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Wednesday morning, so let's get started right now. First up, we're going to begin with a check of the weather. Heat wave has officially come to an end, and we'll see better weather and relief now from that heat wave. With a full weather forecast, let's go to meteorologist Haley LaPointe.
Live music returns to Boarding House Park this summer. Don't miss Kaleo on August 12th. New England Film Orchestra on August 13th. Madeline Peru on August 20th.
Don't wait too long.
And Amos Lee on August 26th.
Hi, everybody. I'm meteorologist Haley LaPointe. Here's an update on your steamy forecast. This was it for the steamy weather, though. We did make it into the 90s. Manchester, Nashua, Concord getting to the low and mid 90s, 91 at Portsmouth. We reached 90 in Lebanon earlier on in the day. It marked the 8th straight day in Manchester, Concord, and Rochester. It is the second longest heat wave ever on record for Concord, which is crazy. That's a long stretch of heat. The longest on record is 9 days, which was set in 2002. That will not happen tomorrow. We will not reach that 9-day stretch. Right now, the air still irritating. We have that soupy, oppressive feel with the humidity. Tomorrow, still a little bit sticky, but then finally more comfortable, pleasant air makes a return for Thursday into Friday with, dare I say, even a little fall-like feel with that crisp, dry air surging in. Cold front moves through this evening, and that will cool down the air. There's even a chance of some scattered showers and downpours this evening and overnight. Otherwise, it's cloudy, likely waking up to a lot of clouds tomorrow, but some brightening in the skies in the afternoon. Spotty shower can't be ruled out in the afternoon, but nothing all that heavy. Thursday, we see a mix of sun and clouds, and in the northern part of the state, a chance of afternoon showers and thunder showers. Tonight, in the 50s to the north, still in the 60s and a little bit soupy, central and south. But look at these temperatures tomorrow. Compare that to the 90s. Instead, we're in the 70s, maybe close to 80 in Lebanon, but a much different feel. Showers, some sun on Thursday. Friday, sunny with a lot less humidity. Temperatures in the 70s. And this weekend looking super pleasant with sun. Temps either side of 80 degrees.
Okay, and there you go on that weather forecast from meteorologist Haley LaPointe. Thank you for that, Haley. Jury finds Vladimir Zazovsky not guilty on all counts in the Randolph crash. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Not guilty.
26-year-old Vladimir Zazovsky, full of emotion, pointing to the sky and breaking down as his not guilty verdicts come in. You can see it's a decision many in the courthouse were devastated by. The prosecution also disheartened, saying they had litigated hard but didn't get the rulings they wanted.
I think right now is probably not the time to try to read tea leaves and try to figure out exactly what the jury thought. Obviously, we're disappointed. We believed, looking at the facts, that they were sufficient to prove these charges beyond a reasonable doubt. We appreciate the jury's time and consideration of the charges, and we respect their ultimate conclusion. Our hearts obviously break for the victims' families.
The defense team and Zazovsky's family declining to comment on the acquittals, as did members of the Jarheads Motorcycle Club. Zazovsky leaving the courthouse in a Coos County Sheriff's Department vehicle. The Department of Corrections says the Ukrainian native was served an immigration detainer issued by the Department of Homeland Security Tuesday.
Tonight, Zukovsky is being held at the Grafton County Department of Corrections. It's not clear at this point what's going to happen to him next. Reporting live, Grace Feinerman, WMUR News 9.
Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell saying,
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Review Board. Officer justified in fatal shooting outside New Boston Space Force Station. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Tonight, an Air Force Review Board says an officer was justified in fatally shooting a man outside the New Boston Space Force Station back in May. The Review Board says Michael Foley approached the station's gate with a knife and a gun and made threatening gestures toward a contracted police officer. The investigation also revealed that Foley had a gas can and propane tank in his vehicle. A separate investigation from the State Attorney General's office is set to wrap up next month.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. New Hampshire officials report one new COVID-19 death Tuesday. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
And now to the latest on the COVID-19 pandemic in New Hampshire. The state is announcing 147 new cases of the virus. Hospitalizations jumped to 118. That is the most in 2.5 weeks. 20 of those are receiving COVID-specific treatment. There's also one new death to report.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Legal analyst says judge throwing out some charges likely impacted Zukovsky's trial decision. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
You probably know Vistaprint for business cards, but did you know we also print that and that and...
Now, before today's not guilty verdicts from the jury, last week the judge tossed out 8 of the 23 charges Vladimir Zukovsky had been facing related to being under the influence, ruling that the state hadn't met the burden of proof for those. Well, a legal analyst tells us that aspect likely played a role in how the jury went about reaching their ultimate decision.
Removed that element of intoxication from the jury's consideration. So at this point, they had, to go forward just the evidence of what caused the crash without having to consider whether intoxication played a role in it.
And that, former County Attorney Patty LaFrance says, gave the defense the opening to point out for the jury additional areas of potential reasonable doubt.
The defense actually did a good job of pointing out in their closing that the prosecutors didn't call some of their really main witnesses that you would expect them to call regarding the accident reconstruction.
The defense did have a crash expert who LaFrance thought may have stuck in the mind of some jurors.
You did have the defense who called witnesses to support the idea that it was not the defendant who caused this crash.
And now, not guilty verdicts on all counts. Zukovsky's threat of future criminal prosecution in New Hampshire is low.
Certainly, his legal troubles here in terms of criminal case, because of obviously double jeopardy, he cannot be tried again. The state has no opportunity to appeal this verdict.
And the prosecutors will, in a month's time, have the chance to talk to the jurors from this case, which is something LaFrance says she would often do after trials. The state's attorneys can then learn what happened in the deliberations of the jury room that were ultimately leading to this verdict.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Untimely death in Manchester under investigation. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Right now, a death investigation is underway at Nuts Pond in Manchester after a man's body was found. They say the man was found shortly after 9 this morning. Officials are calling this an untimely death, but have not released any more details just yet.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. ICE suspect in deadly stabbing in Nashua was in the United States illegally. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Tonight, the suspect in a deadly stabbing in Nashua is being held on an immigration detainer. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement saying Miguel Ramirez is a citizen of Honduras and is illegally in the U.S. He is charged with second-degree murder in the death of Julie Gratian. ICE saying removal proceedings will begin after the local charges are resolved.
Okay, there you go on that video and that report. White House reveals strategy to distribute monkeypox vaccine. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
So, we're getting that house we told you guys about.
You're buying a house?
Yeah. Soldiers get VA loan guarantees.
Yeah, no money down. Well, my office gives us free bagels.
But that's cool.
We turn to the monkeypox outbreak here in the U.S. tonight. The government is now planning to turn one vaccine shot into 5 shots to reach far more people. ABC's Steve Osensami at the CDC in Atlanta.
The government's new plan tonight will vaccinate 5 American adults against monkeypox using the same amount of drug now used to immunize just one person. And it allows for medical professionals to start vaccinating at-risk children who are under 18 years old.
Today's action will boost and strengthen our response further.
The big change is how they put the shot into the arms of adults. Instead of pushing the vaccine into deeper tissue, the new injections will use a thinner needle that puts the drug right under the surface of the skin. It'll look very similar to common skin tests for allergies. At-risk children would get the regular shot with the regular dose.
CDC will be providing information and educational materials to vaccine providers to help ensure this new strategy can be implemented quickly and as seamlessly as possible.
There's just not as much vaccine supply as officials say we need, and they believe this is the way to reach up to 1.7 million Americans who they say are at high risk. The FDA says these smaller doses will be just as safe and effective.
Before today, there was only about a third of the vaccine that the government needed to get shots to people who are at highest risk.
David, Steve Osensami at the CDC. Thank you, Steve.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. That does it for this morning edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Thank you for tuning in and watching. Have a great day, everyone, and goodbye.